Today I have a different kind of video where, in addition to opening a bunch of packs from my favorite sets, I'll also be going over everything that I'm auctioning off for July 5th and 6th, 2025, if you happen to be watching this video a lot later. So I can't say it's my biggest auctions ever in terms of most listings. I think I've gone over 1,000 before, but this is probably the best in terms of quality over quantity. We'll see a lot of good cards in here, a lot of ones that I don't often auction off. So we'll get started with the lots, and then every now and then I'll intersperse some packs into the mix here. So let's see, we'll close with Reflections 3. Maybe we'll do Feed after Reflections 1, Tatooine Special Edition. So we'll do 5 packs at some point. So for these auctions, I'm going to start out with a bunch of lots that I have here, and we'll lean something underneath there to keep things from falling over too bad. But a bunch of lots of rares, and it's pretty much all this is rares here. So this is Light Side Premier, a bunch of miscellaneous rares, a lot of rare ones and rare twos in there. And then we got the same thing going when it comes to Dark Side Premier Limited. So a lot of fun cards, even if they don't get used a lot in the modern game of virtual cards. Vader adding a Battle Destiny when he's alone. And Cantina Aliens, so that's Dark Side Premier for you. The Lone Pilot and Lone Warrior, and Seekers, of course, and a nice turbo laser battery. I might take out multiples at once here. So New Hope, I think I did New Hope all together, Light Side and Dark Side. Trooper Davin Felth, who's, I think he has his own Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina. And if you hear some noises, it's getting close to 4th of July, so there's a lot of kids outside having fun with fireworks. So if you hear a lot of whooping and a lot of explosions, that's what's going on. Hoth, I got Hoth into Light Side and Dark Side, a lot of those Snowspeeder guys I got. And the Surface Defense Cannon. I've actually been using this lately because of the Destiny, the High Destiny, just as forfeit fodder in decks where you use that Death Star 2 effect to forfeit weapons for 3. So I often just put it in space and then forfeit that for 3 forfeit to my use pile, and I get a 5 back in my deck. I do that on the Tiderium when I want to do a Tiderium deck. Dark Side, here we got Wampa, Tactical Support, that's a really good card. The Wampa Cave, and Yago Gokkel, which is not a great card, but it's fun to get a super high ferocity creature just from repeatedly going after creature vehicles. Light Side Dagobah, Han's Toolkit and Luke's Backpack, the Bog Clearings, so a couple good devices there. Some famous or infamous effects, depending on how you look at it, many of which had to receive errata. And some more basic cards that are still pretty interesting, so being able to retrieve any one effect of pretty much any kind. Lots of Dagobah there. And then here I got Dark Side Dagobah. Restlook Ralph, that's a fun card. Greedo's a loner to sight, and then suddenly you're adding 2 Battle Destiny. That'll show Han for trying to shoot first. It kind of gives me an idea for a fun video to do of seeing how crazy I can get Greedo to be defending a battle on his own. And Cloud City Light Side now, Off the Edge. Probably my favorite retrieval card, using like R2-D2 with a destiny of 1, the Jabba's Palace R2-D2, and being able to retrieve force equal to the difference. There's defenses against that now, but it's still a fun idea. Lots of decent interrupts in Cloud City. Kind of stinks to pull an interrupt when you're, when you're opening it up and you want to get a Boba Fett or a Captain Han, but a lot of them are actually good or at least interesting. I do like Weather Vane hijinks. And we got the actor played Jeremy Bulloch, I think his name is. That's him in another role there. Emperor's Prize and All Too Easy, very useful cards if you want to really go for the jugular and making an opponent lose half their life force if you freeze and capture Luke. A couple of TIE fighters there. I always thought these looked nice. Vader's Cape. This is a fun card. If your opponent with a lightsaber won a battle, make an opponent's character disarm. They have to lose one force at the end of each of their turns. So maybe that character won't be around for long, but being able to disarm a character, but just by winning a battle, that can actually really hurt their plans for what they were doing before that. Okay, then we'll get into some of the later sets. A lot of Jabba's Palace, aliens and planets. All sorts of good stuff to use as reps. If you use rep decks with, I think I'll show you that objective in a bit. And Darkside, Pote Snitkin, one of the best skip drivers in the galaxy. Reese, just kind of a fun card how everything's 3/3/3 on it. Yeah, these lots, everything's all different. So no duplicates in each lot. Because I don't like that when, you get a collection and you say, oh, it's, 500 rares and 300 of them are, White Border Premier and Jabba's Palace, 3 of the same card each. Special Edition Light Side. That's a fun card to be able to retrieve 2 force whenever you hit opponent's starship or vehicle. So a few of the manufacturers there. Incom Corporation, Slaning Corp facilities, and I guess I've never actually thought about saying this out loud. Cohen Sayer Manufacturing. Brangus Glee. He has a shield against him, but in non-shielded formats he's kind of fun. It's kind of cool how a random Cantina alien needed a defensive shield. One Arm the Wampa, Lobot Darkside. Debate about selling him as a single, putting him in a lot here. All sorts of Tatooine, so lots of useful effects to boost different decks. That's basically Tatooine was the main characters, pod racing, and then a bunch of objectives got a helper effect. So kind of a strange mix of themes, but I think it kind of worked out. Lots of useful stuff. Effects that are still staples in a lot of those decks today. Reflections 2 cards, mostly those combo interrupts and effects, but some other things. So light and dark mixed together. Got a bunch of shields, and the effect to get the shields out. Same for Darkside, I'm sure, is next. So a bunch of shields there, and then some of the lots were getting a little too big, I thought, so I put all 6 fish in one lot together. So if you really like fish, if you like sushi, you should bid on that one. So yeah, when I do these, shipping for the first item is $4 to the US, and each additional item is free, and I'll have a bit of a promotion going as well. So beyond that, beyond each additional item being free, if your whole order is $50 or more, 2 or more items, $50 or more, shipping's free there. So whether you win 2 auctions or 500, it's basically if you go over $50, it's free shipping. So white border, these are bigger than the black border lots because a lot of the black border cards I have as singles, but lots of good stuff here. Beggar, Han's Blaster Pistol, Revolution, and yeah, a lot of those good interrupts on the edge. I almost said off the edge, like the Cloud City one. Cantina, and a couple of Seekers. Then we'll have Darkside white border here, so the original General. Dark Collaboration, that's a fun card. Adding 2 Battle Destiny when Tarkin's with either Mahdi or Tag. And I occasionally sneak this one into lightsaber combat decks. That's it's a Destiny 6, you can use it as a combat card, or if you actually have Obi-Wan at a site, you can actually kind of a sneak attack, you know, put Obi-Wan out of play. You can't really lightsaber, I mean, you could lose Vader and then be in serious trouble, but that's fairly unlikely to outright lose a lightsaber combat when you're actually playing a combat deck. I'm sorry, that's actually a duel, but you get to use the cards, I'm not explaining that well, the combat cards. Black 2's in here, repeating blaster rifle, and lots of interrupts. It's a cool looking one. And yeah, battle with Obi-Wan and Vader, can add a battle destiny. Does the circle is now complete work at any time? I know the Luke one is only during your, oh yeah. So you could add the battle destiny with the other one, then duel, knock Obi-Wan out of the battle, and then battle whoever's left. Of course, if Obi-Wan's alone, that doesn't work, but you could already have added the battle destiny. Okay, almost done with the lots here, and you know what, since we're done with the normal sets, let's open a pack. Special edition here. Rare's going to be the last card. It's got some brand new 2 devices already. Okay. Kind of a neat one to cancel immunity to attrition. The light side had a version of this guy since Premiere. Ah, here's a useful uncommon. You can kind of use them in swarms. Kuet. Dr. Evasion's Blaster. Not a rare. I thought for a long time it was, but it's not. Our card is blue. That's good usually. Unless it's like a Bantha. Oh, okay. Well, 12-10. There's only one card this could be. It's actually Death Star Assault Squadron. So I count that as a main. It's got Vader in it. And total ability of 10, add 9 to power. So it's a nice card. Yeah, I guess it could have been like a Ur's Bantha. I got some complete sets here coming up. The 2-player game Premiere, the 2-player game Hoth, which actually has some pretty useful cards. Hoth Mountains, this is the only place you can get Hoth Mountains. Only place you can get Veers. Walker Gear, some of these they made foils of, but a lot of these, or they had other versions, but a couple of those, that's all they got. Jedi Pack full set with the most basic versions of Han, Leia, Mahdi, and Tarkin. And I have a full 18-card official tournament sealed deck set. So Dreadnought's in there. It's a hit, still a useful card. Tarkin's Orders is 2, but it seems like I see it's a hit a lot more often. Then the next one is also a complete set of the Jabba's Palace premiums. So these are the rep decks that let you use an alien as your rep. Palace Raider is a valuable card. Lando, Mighty Jabba. I thought about selling those as singles, but I figured I'd do the whole set together. But lots of light side and dark side versions of the same cards. That's 20 cards right there, all 20 of them. A mixture of anthology premiums. Sarlacc's in there. Foils now. We got Lando, Redemption, and Haven. And then a bunch of miscellaneous foils here. Some good ones in there, though. I use this card a lot still. Skywalker's is fun. So that's the light side foils. And here's our last handful of lot cards. So dark side, super laser looks good. There's another good looking foil. Wampa, epic duel, 2 lightsabers there. Another one with lightsabers. They knew what they were doing when they folded the lightsaber cards, although it's hard for me to actually get the reflection on there. But yeah, dark side one, a lot of variety, a bit more than the light side one even. Reflections 2 now. B-Wing Squadron. Capital Support. The engines there look pretty neat when foiled. Dark Side Reflections 2, another Admiral's Order with a neat laser beam there. And we got a bunch of Endor foils. These ones are so bright sometimes they hurt the eyes if you look at them wrong. But a dozen or so Endor foils, including an Elite Squadron Stormtrooper, which I always thought looked really cool as a foil. And then some miscellaneous lots. This is all Jawas. If you like Jawas, this is pretty much one of every Jawa that's unique, and a couple Sandcrawlers. I might have missed one or two there. Bunch of useful Tusken stuff. So the unique Tusken Raiders and some accessories. And you got Jabba's Niktos, bunch of them. And then one lot that I thought was kind of fun. If you like adding battle destinies, these are all the, if so and so is with somebody else, add 2 battle destinies. So I did a bunch of those in here. So Leia and Chewie, Han and Chewie, Leia and Han, Luke and Chewie, Tarkin and Madi or Tag, Obi-Wan and Yoda, Obi-Wan or Yoda and Luke, Luke and Han, and Luke and Leia. So if you like adding battle destinies, especially among the heroes, that'd be a fun one. Okay, that's it for the lots. I'll open another pack now. And move these off to the side. We'll open a Tatooine pack. My original, I say this every time I open one, but it's the first set wherever I opened a box from it, so I have some nostalgia. Our rare card is a dark side card. We'll see what that is at the end. Trying to get this card to work into a deck. Taking the Pod Racer base, using that as a battleground site, and then adding a battle destiny there. I've only ever used this in kind of a gimmicky video to try to get the most battle destiny possible. That's in like my cooperative game series. You can see that playlist on my channel. Sith Fury, the virtual card, is one of my favorites in the game. Allows you to redraw a character if you draw them for Destiny. This card won me a lot of games in the Episode 1 sealed tournament. I think I went 30-0 in that. I had some really lucky pulls for Dark Side and then Light Side. I just kind of Gungan spammed and it all worked out. Our rare card is a character. That's usually a good sign. Oh wait, nope. That's not the rare card. Okay, darn it. That's a bummer. Okay, so this means it's probably going to be red. I'm not that lucky, am I? It is red. Ugh. It's an effect. Okay, and this is I will find them quickly, Master. All right. Well, enough of that. I got excited because it was a character. There are a couple bad characters, but most of the characters you can get in Tatooine are good. Most of the red cards you can get are a disappointment. So, can't win them all. I'll be going through the singles here. And these more or less go by set order. So starting out, I should mention, eBay will automatically give you free shipping if you have 2 or more. Well, if you're in the U.S. If you live outside the U.S., the international shipping program takes over, and you'll kind of have to see what it says for your own country there. But if you live in the U.S., $50 order, 2 more items, $50 free shipping. If, when you're done bidding, and these auctions end July 6th and July 7th, so hopefully you see this video before that, you send me an eBay message and you can say, oh, I'm ready to check out, or just send me the message, Max Rebo. If your order is $25 or more, 2 more items, $25 or more, you'll get free shipping there. So I lowered the free shipping threshold. I'll have to manually do that, but that's easy for me. So I'm just curious who maybe bids on the auctions because of this. So yeah, instead of $50 for free shipping, if you have 2 or more items and it's $25 or more, free shipping. So just say Max Rebo in the message, or say I'm ready to check out, and then add Max Rebo, and I will send you an updated invoice. If you have over $50 in wins and want to send me Max Rebo anyways, you can, but I think eBay is going to automatically apply that for you. But starting out with foils, lots of good ones here. Jabba, the Bounty Hunters, Jabba's Rancor, another Jabba. They foiled 2 Jabbas. Slave 1. It's a nice ship. General Veers, top dog there, foil, one of the super rares. The Executor foil. Tarkin and the Death Star, and then getting into the light side ones. Oh, wait, before we get into the light side, that is a Vader Dark Lord of the Sith foil. Kind of hard to... Well, he's in a case, so it's also kind of hard to get the light on him, but that's a very nice card. Lots of Leia's and Han's, the Falcon. There's a nice foil. Come on, let's get some light on that one. There we go. One of the best looking cards in the game. R2 in red 5, Luke and his lightsaber, Wedge and his ship, and his snowspeeder, and then we got Obi-Wan and his lightsaber. And yeah, this is pretty much the order they go in, so I don't know. I like to sometimes cluster things a certain way. So Obi-Wan's lightsaber proficiency, Luke's lightsaber. Like the lightsaber cards together. Home one and its pilot Akbar. We got the Rebel Navy here. And let's see, let's go up through white border. It's kind of a big handful, but I think it'll be okay. More Reflections 2 foils, Lando, Maydeen, Wicket, of course. Got a Luke. There's a box topper foil, so you only get these on the top of a... So there's only one of... Well, I guess there's 4 box topper foils. And maybe 5. No, I guess there's only 4. So there's 1 Han for every 4 booster boxes in existence, as far as I know. Because there was 4 different ones. Force Lightning foil, bunch of the ships here, Boba, IG-88, Zuckuss, Outer Rim Scout foil, Bounty Hunters, mostly armed Bounty Hunters is what they did in that one, Fell, the other Executor foil, Chimera foil, some Reflections 3 foils, not as many of those, Chewie, a bunch of tournament foils. So these were foils that you got as prizes for winning or just participation in tournaments, but that's probably half the tournament foils right there. And remember, this box is all singles here. Bunch of white border premiere, including the good stuff: Luke, Obi-Wan, Han, Tarkin, Vader. I don't have many. These are generally pretty hard to find. The well, New Hope's probably the easiest, but the white border sets, A New Hope, Hoth, and Dagobah, those rares are pretty tough to come by, but I do have a few extras I can auction off. Some of them pretty valuable. The Death Star, Rogue 3, I think got a couple more. Oh yeah, Stalker and Tyrant, and then Mist Hunter. So lots of white border there. Usually when people think white border, they think, ugh, white border premier, commons and uncommons, but a lot of people are trying to fill out their sets, and there's been a bit of a spike in demand for alright, let's go starting here. A bit of a spike in demand for the white border revised sets, which are not nearly as plentiful as the unlimited premier. R2 and Red 5, still a good card. Leia. Here's the Enhanced Cloud City and Enhanced Jabba's Palace. So lots of main characters and ships here. And useful objectives and effects. Got a Luke. Leia. It still kind of annoys me that there's 2 H's in Bausch and not 2 S's. I misspelled that for the longest time, but I'm getting better. Jodo Cast. Mara Jade. I don't auction Mara's very often, but I got her and her lightsaber. All sorts of premier cards. Dark Jedi Presence of the Force. I know it's not a foil. I kind of turned it like it's a foil, but it's not. Vader's lightsaber and Vader himself. Black border Vader there. Black border Obi-Wan. Leia, C-3PO, Han and his blaster, black border Falcon. Dutch and his fighter, Red Later and his fighter, Luke. Red 5, R2 all together, and then his wingman, Wedge. And you're all clear, kid. So, try to keep things together in a theme, and these all end about 1 minute apart, so let's see, we'll go up through Dagobah, and then I'll open another pack. Alright, more coming up on 25 minutes. Okay, so we're doing okay on time. Chewie and the Wookiee related cards. All sorts of rare ones here and Death Star related things. Ozzel. I always thought it was funny how he had Destiny 0. Death Squadron. Lots of those rare ones in Hoth that aren't too easy to come by. Another Veers. That last one is a foil. This one is non-foil. Trample. Concussion Grenade. If you're watching Sean High, here's a concussion grenade. You can buy it on auction if you want. If you've watched my videos, you might have heard that story. If you haven't, then anytime I open Hoth, I pretty much tell it, but I'm going to speed through it this time. Luke and his lightsaber, another Luke. Lots of Dagobah here, including ones that have been virtualized. Yoda. And you can probably guess what the next card is. If it's in a sleeve, it's the Executor. So lots of, pretty much, especially from the early sets, pretty much all the top cards I got auctioned up as singles. There's probably a few exceptions, but okay. Before we get into Cloud City, let's open another pack. Reflections this time. And let's see if foil is obvious to the back for me. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I don't know. Supposedly there's an order here, but I've never really known it. I think it's not always the same. Maybe it is, and I've just never noticed. Okay, so we got a bunch of fixed cards from the starter deck. That often happens in these. There's our Jabba's Palace. So far, no rares. Cloud City. Alright, here's the premiere, and I'm going to set those down because I want to, before I get to the foil. Still no rares. Oof. I think this next one's the foil. Okay. Oh gosh, this might be the worst Reflections pack of all time. Whatever it is, its location. Ugh. Gross. Okay. Wow, that is profoundly terrible. I don't know if I've seen a Reflections pack that bad, or at least not on the channel. I'm sure when I opened whole boxes with my buddy Sean, we had a few bad ones, but yuck. What do they say when you have a bad game? Burn the tape. That's a burn the tape one. All right, let's go through special edition here. Okay. So Boba Fett and his accessories. Lots of accessories actually. Han, Leia, Lando. Into the Jabba's Palace now. Nice Leia there. Rancor, great card. Well, I don't know if it's a great card, but it's a fun card. Jabba's still really useful. Scum and Villainy. Probably, this could be the most, well, other than Blaster Deflection, probably the most competitive card from Jabba's Palace. There, somebody could probably correct me on that. The most competitive rare in terms of what's had the most effect on helping people win competitive games. Lots of special edition stuff, Good Things Harvest, and various sites. Death Star, Rendezvous Point, weapons, Ben Kenobi. Where is he? There he is. And Leia's blaster rifle. Bunch of objectives. So if you like objectives, those are all going up as singles. A lot of these dark side locations are pretty useful, like in Black Sun decks. Sarlacc, Jabba's henchman, the other Boba Fett. I think this is a cool picture, and the fact that he makes hit characters forfeit 0 is a lot of fun, because his blaster doesn't do that on its own. Outer Rim Scout, the 3 occupations. Dune Walker. Always thought that was just kind of a cool thing they made for fun. It never really showed up in the movies as far as I know. Kind of like the Sand Speeder. It's a cool shot of the Vengeance, a neat angle of it. Almost looks like a mirror image of... I wonder if that's the same Star Destroyer just flipped around. And the Imperial Navy now, and ending with Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith himself. Okay, we'll open a Theed pack now. Well, you know, I'm gonna get through a couple more sets. So tons of Endor. It's probably pretty close to one of every Endor rare. I think maybe Daughter of Skywalker I don't have up, and maybe a couple random effects, but you got all the ATSTs and the ATST cannon, all sorts of helpful effects. Biker Scouts, tons of Biker Scouts. Light side has a lot of mirror image stuff. All sorts of Ewok stuff, if you like Ewoks. This is a chance to bid on a bunch of Ewoks. Played an Ewok catapult deck not that long ago. Walkling, the Virtual's still a very useful card. Without the Virtual set, this would probably be a $5 card. With it, it's pushing 30 bucks. Fly Casual is really useful, getting the Tidarium. All sorts of commandos if you want to blow up the shield generator. This one's still super useful today to try to usually get the Tatooine 3PO. We'll see him in a bit. Chewie and his gun. That's actually not all the light side cards here. There's a few more Endor light side. Oh, just one actually. Then got all the Death Star 2 now. And the Luke accessories. Oh, that reminds me. So I do have a bunch of even more valuable cards here. Might as well go through these now in a bit of a intermission. So I got a Ultra Rare Luke, Ultra Rare Emperor, and then some AIs here. So Phantom Menace from Coruscant, and then 3 from Theed. So some of the big dogs there. The Rebel Navy has a good showing here. And Rebel Leadership, super useful card, especially the virtual version. Then we get to the Imperial side, which is almost all. That's one of the fun things about Death Star 2, is that when you open a pack, there's a really good chance you're going to get a nice starship or its pilot. Or if you're really lucky, Vader, Luke, or the Emperor. Of course, Vader is not any more rare than most of the Death Star 2 cards, but the Emperor and Luke are. There's a few, I forget which exact ones, that had extra copies on the sheet printed to make up for Luke and the Emperor being on there fewer times for being ultra rares. But yeah, Lord Vader's on here. I believe this is one this particular one, I'm not for sure, is one that I've opened in a video on here. Whenever I opened that, because I had it double sleeved, which I didn't do until recently for a lot of those. Okay, so before we get into the episode 1 cards, or at least the episode 1 sets, it's time to open a Theed pack. All right, yeah, I went with the rare last. Our rare card is Light Side. That could be good or bad. Lots of good uncommons in Theed. So Ascension Guns is an uncommon, I believe. That's a good common, actually. That's a $5 common. He's very nice. Pretty much essential for We Have a Plan decks. Of course, there's the rule card we saw earlier. It's kind of an interesting one. If your opponent's starfighter is just hit where your droid starfighter is present, activate up to 4 force. Kind of strange, but that could be really useful, actually. Staps. I've always wanted to make a Stap deck, but it's hard because the best deck to use battle droids, you want them to be indoors, usually at the Palace Throne Room, so that one's kind of tough. Take them away. Super useful in Episode 1 Sealed. Definitely save some guys bacon by reducing battle destiny. Probably the best battle droid here. 1 force to make somebody defense value -3. Oh, I did it again. That's not a rare card. How many more do I have? Oh, 2. Okay, well, I should have known. This is not good. Hopefully this is not talking about our rare card. It's not necessarily a good omen. Our rare card, please don't be red. Okay, it's a character. So it could be Rick O'Lee. But otherwise, it's probably somebody pretty good. 7/8. Okay, that is good. There's only one character this could be. It's going to be a Jedi Master. And he doesn't have any immune to attrition. But that's okay because he has a permanent weapon. This is Qui-Gon Jinn with lightsabers. That's an awesome pull. That makes up for that Reflections 1 garbage. So, whew. Man, I think the last time I pulled one of these was right when Theed Palace came out. I remember sitting in the back of my dad's car and pulling a Qui-Gon Jinn with a lightsaber, and man, that's a good card. So very neat. Awesome to have him. And I think I might actually have one up for auction, but we'll see if there is one. I kind of forgotten. But even if the Reflections 3-pack isn't so hot, that's going to be a fun part of this video. So all sorts of Tatooine here. Almost all these cards are basically near mint. I think I'm listed as light play. This one is probably in the lower end of cards I have here. So it's clearly some edge white, but it's still a good card. Yeah, with that edge white, probably not for somebody's binder, but easily good for playing, and that's the low end of what I'm auctioning off. All sorts of light side rares, Qui-Gon, one of my favorite characters. He and R2-D2 might be my favorite characters. I do have all 9 Tatooine AIs up for auction, and all these auctions, by the way, are starting at $1. Well, there's one that isn't, but that one's kind of a joke. You'll see that if you click on the link that I'm going to put in the description. The one that starts at more than $1. He's well, if you know a bit about Star Wars CCG memes, you'll like that one. But everything else starts at $1. All 814 of them. Something like that. All sorts of Coruscant cards. It seems like almost every Coruscant card is, at least buy it now, $5 these days. Coruscant rares, I should say. There's probably a couple that aren't, like Dioxis, but most of them are at least $5, buy it now. But everything's starting at $1, including some of the top dogs like the Queen and Palpatine. And Speak with the Jedi Council. Lets you pull the Jedi Council chamber. We have the Jedi Council themselves. Now, he doesn't follow the code, so he's not in the council, but I put him next to the council members. And lots of good effects. I use this one all the time. This one's actually fun in ambushes. And senators. Newt Gunray. Looking for those droid decals. They're coming up. Don't worry, Newt Gunray. He's kind of a worrywart. Alright. I'll go up to Theed here, and then we'll close with Reflections 2 and Reflections 3, and then open Reflections 3 booster. Okay. So now we got into the really good Coruscant cards. Actually, there was a few already, but in terms of Dark Side, Phantom Menace, Maul's Infiltrator, Maul, P-59 and P-60, and then some Theed, Destroyer Droid Helpers, Battle Droids. Hopefully I'm talking loud enough over the fireworks. They're going crazy out there right now. Maul with lightsaber, R2, General Jar Jar, Mace Windu, and yeah, there is a Qui-Gon with lightsaber here, so it's kind of nice to get right back a card I'm auctioning off. There's the other one. That's I don't know, to me that seems like an especially fun pull just because he's, I kind of knew, I thought, well, could that be Mace Windu? But no, because he is, I guess I'll just do the whole stack, because he's 8/8, to play 8, forfeit 8. All the good combo interrupts here, at least 5 for each side, Jabba's Prize for those carbon freezing decks. Pretty unique card back there. Makes sense he can't ever be replaced in the reserve deck. All the Black Sun people you need, Shizor and Guri, and then the Emperor and his retinue, and the other version of Mara Jade here, Thrawn. Really awesome card, even to this day. Adds 1 battle potting a Star Destroyer, and if you want to use Admiral's Orders, he's really good for that. Luke Rebel Scout. If you want a Jedi Luke but can't afford a Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight, he was one to use for a while. And I think, it's probably not guaranteed, I'm sure you could get doubles, but basically there's 54 premium cards total, so at least in terms of the odds, with 30 packs, I mean, there's more than one Luke for every 30 Reflections 2 packs. So if you bought a whole pack of Reflections, whole box of Reflections 2, you're probably going to get a bunch of packs. All sorts of lightsaber combat stuff. I love lightsaber combat. It's kind of quirky, and there's some decks it's an auto loss against, but I was able to come in first at the Bothawui Regionals out here in Nebraska when gosh, what year was that? 2023 maybe? 2022? I don't remember anymore. But yeah, using lightsaber combat, I figured I know more about my deck than other people do, and I don't want to play some deck that everybody plays because the people who play against it are going to know more about it than I do, so I kind of went in, and it worked out okay. I lost one game, and I think I won the other 5, so I was happy to have that happen. Anyways, Lord Maul and his lightsaber force push, which kind of became out of nowhere because the virtualization, one of the most valuable cards in the set. This one you want to spam in great quantity in a deck because it's high destiny, and once you get it out, you can deploy Executor for free once per game. A lot of those good maintenance cards. Good in the sense of powerful. Some people don't like that they were ever put in the game, but I don't know. They do have a built-in cost that, even if it doesn't balance it out, it still makes it like, okay, well, do I want to use this, or do I want to use a card that isn't going to get placed out of play if I don't pay my upkeep costs? Obi-Wan, the Combat Qui-Gon, one of my favorites. Adds 2 to opponent's force loss if you win lightsaber combat. So that's actually it for the singles. But yeah, that's the 815 or so items I'm auctioning. And just once more through the top ones here. Those are all AIs and ultra rares. But those will end July 6th and 7th. That's Sunday and Monday. Each one ends 1 minute apart. And I think I have them going from like 5 p.m. Central to midnight each day. So wanted to make it available for people. Don't forget about that Max Rebo promo code. So yeah, if your order goes $25 or more, 2 items, $25 or more out of these auctions, just send me a message that says Max Rebo to let me know you're ready to check out, and I'll send you an invoice. Just curious how many people see my auctions because of my channel and or Facebook versus just kind of coming across me on eBay. Whoops. Didn't do so good with the wrapper, but that's not the most important part. All right. So here is our Reflections 3-pack. The first cards are not usually that good, but I guess you can get a rare occasionally. He's not a rare. I thought for a while that he was, but he's not. That's a rare. Okay, Dark Collaboration. I do like the card. Just the idea in general, and also the characters involved. Jabba's Palace. These are my 2 actually favorite non-unique aliens. For the Force Retrieval and the Power Bonus. That's still a useful card for getting non-unique. Oh my goodness! Sorry. Got a little bit ahead of myself there. Our last card is a good one. With a very pretty background. These are 2 useful cards still. 2 Force, or it's canceled if you... I do light side Force choke decks more often, but the dark side ones are an interesting idea. Okay. Alright, so we have the light side generator core. This is going to be a character. And it could be Bib Fortuna or Jabba, or which are... Well, Bib Fortuna is not good. Jabba's okay. Falcon Thug is a little bit better, but hopefully it's a Maul or a Boba. So let's look at deploy and forfeit first. Okay, so this is Falcon Thug. So it's, I mean, it's a useful card, but it's not the character you want if you see a character. And then our last premium card is red. That's never good. Well, that's not so true. It could be Force Push. It could be the, they must never again leave this city. It's an effect. Let's see here. It is, this is like prepare for a surface attack. Okay. Well, don't worry. If you haven't seen the foil art, if you don't know what that was, this will make up for it. Okay, there's a Death Star 2 card in this one. That's fairly atypical from what I usually open in Reflections 3. And that's a pretty good one to get. Alright. Power Pivot is a good card. Our rare card is 6/7. He's a Jedi Master. He has that nice Coruscant skyline behind him. It is a Mace Windu foil. So that's a super rare foil. That's, I don't know exactly, probably got to be a $50 card. I kind of forgot off the top of my head, but gorgeous looking card, great background there. Iconic actor, of course, Samuel Jackson. I always think of the Chappelle Show skit where he's got the Sam Jackson beer and he's doing some of his most famous quotes. But wow, what a nice looking card to end the video. But yeah, I'm just going to keep shining this in the light while reminding you one more time about my auctions. I'm going to put the full details in the description. So rather than saying it all again one more time, just click down on the description, or egarco89 CCGs and more is also the name. So the name of this channel is also my eBay store. So if you want to contact me through eBay, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about these auctions. But summer break right now, so I'm trying to auction a few off and also make 45-minute videos of pretty Star Wars cards. But two Jedi Masters in 5 packs. That's pretty good. I'll take that any day. And yeah, I like foils. Like that kid that likes turtles, I like foils. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you take a look at my auctions, and have a good one.